The evolution of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie. Dwayne Douglas Johnson, also known by his ring name The Rock, or Rocky Maivia, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment.
Even though The Rock is the most electrifying man in all of showbiz.
The people's champ, the great one, the Brahma Bull, lots. He is an American actor, producer, and semi-retired professional wrestler.
For example, if it were you and I, I'd be like, Graham, what do you think you're going to do tonight when we get in the ring? Well, I think it doesn't matter what you think.
Born the 2nd of May, 1972, aged 46, so he's 46 years young, from Hayward, California, United States. His parents, Canadian-born professional wrestler Rocky Johnson. He was of black Canadian descent. Mother is of a Samoan background. You'll know him as Maui.
Yes, it's really me, it's Maui, breathe it in. I know it's a lot, the hair, the bod. When you're staring at a demigod, what can I say except you're welcome?
Spencer from Jumanji. Luke Hobbs.
We find them, we take them as a team, and we bring them back. And above all else, we don't ever let them get in the cars.
To Hank in Journey 2.
Well, tell me.
You've got to do this.
What is that?
That is the peck pop of love. Now go on and throw a berry.
No.
Go on and throw a berry. There's some right behind you. Grab one and throw it. Don't be afraid they're not going to bite. Grab a berry.
Now, before he made a name for himself in the movie industry, and by that I mean being the biggest star on screen nowadays, The Rock has been listed as one of the all-time greatest professional wrestlers ever. And I'm going to talk about the highlights of his career before he went into movies. 1996 to 1997, he was the Intercontinental Champion, a clean-cut face character, a babyface, who was pushed heavily despite his wrestling inexperience. He debuted on Monday Night Raw as a member of Mark Merrow's entourage. At In Your House 14, Revenge of the Taker, he lost to Savio Vega by countout, retaining the title for the final time. Audiences became increasingly hostile towards Maivia, with chants of "Die Rocky Die" and "Rocky sucks" being heard during his matches, which is upsetting. Thus, it turned him heel.
What? Whoa!
1997 to 1998, he joined the Nation of Domination. You know, we got Farouk, D'Lo Brown, and Karma in the stable called the Nation of Domination. 1998 to 1999, The Corporation, where he coined the phrase "the People's Champion." The next stage was the Rock and Sock Connection, a great tag team between Mankind and The Rock. Another highlight was when Rock returned. The Rock won his then record-breaking 7th WWF/WWE champion in 2002. 2003 to 2004, we had the final feuds. Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, Goldberg to Evolution. 2011 to 2013, we had the very famous feud with John Cena. And 2016 to 2017, we had sporadic appearances from him, which made audiences so excited when he came back. It was just, I got goosebumps, and every time he come back, it was absolutely fantastic. But while he was wrestling, he did pop in a few TV shows. That 70s Show TV series as Rocky Johnson in 1999.
You get bit on the kneecaps. Look at my knees. Pigeon bites.
And a year later, he was in Star Trek Voyager, the TV series, as the Champion. Perfect name, the Champion, in 2000. The Rock began his film career, though, with The Mummy Returns as the Scorpion King. A sequel to The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. And it's a badass movie I love to watch, and it reminds me of my youth a little bit as well. The mummified body of Imhotep is shipped to a museum in London, where he once again wakes and begins his campaign of rage and terror. Written and directed by Stephen Sommers, known for G.I. Joe and Van Helsing. We'll talk more about the character in the actual film, The Scorpion King. Loosely translated, Dwayne Johnson's line of Haku Mashente means it's hot as hell. It's hot as hell. Dwayne Johnson suffered from food poisoning and sunstroke. He lost over 10 pounds and said it was the worst I've ever felt in my life. Mama. His only spoken lines are in ancient Egyptian. Prequel film The Scorpion King, which is set 5,000 years prior to The Mummy, 2002. He was Matthias, the Akkadian warrior. A lot of his scenes were CGI throughout his stint in The Mummy, but they'll always stick in my mind because it's the first instance of seeing him not as a wrestler, but as an actor.
Dwayne, sit away! Dwayne, sit away!
You are.
Chuck Russell directed. I love Chuck Russell. He did The Mask featuring Jim Carrey.
Okay. It's party time. P-A-R-T. Why? Because I gotta.
And Nightmare on Elm Street featuring Robert Englund in the third installment. And The Blob, 1988. So he's got a lot of film cred under his belt, our Chuck. Dwayne Johnson has said that he intentionally shied away from using any trademarks of his WWF character, The Rock, in order to give the Scorpion King character a life of its own. The only exception was the people's eyebrow, which he does in the film. I wish I could do that. Oh, I wish I could do the eyebrow. He said he included the people's eyebrow to acknowledge the millions and millions of Rock fans. However, The Rock's entry music is included briefly in the score. The Rock's entry music is included briefly in the score.
Vago.
But I always remember the song he made about pies. Apple pie, blueberry pie. I don't know why it sticks in my head, but it just came into my head then.
You know, The Rock's gonna tell you a little story. You ain't gonna believe it.
This movie is a prequel to a sequel. Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock's payday of $5.5 million made the Guinness Book of Records for the highest salary for a first-time leading man. In between them two, Rocky played a mugger in Long Shot. And I bet you they're kicking themselves that they didn't use more of him in Long Shot. His first lead role came about straight after.
Wow.
The Rundown, 2003. Johnson played Beck, a retrieval expert, a bounty hunter.
The fear and darkness all around you. The criminals are on the run. No use in hiding in the fog. I'll hunt you down 'cause I'm the dog. I'm the dog, the big bad dog. The bounty hunter.
A tough aspiring chef is hired to bring home a mobster's son from the Amazon, but becomes involved in the fight against an oppressive town operator and the search for a legendary treasure. Treasure map! Treasure. Legendary treasure. Now, this movie was internationally known as Welcome to the Jungle, which is an odd coincidence considering his later film, We also had Sean William Scott, who I love to pieces also, and you'll see his name pop up a few times with The Rock. Sean William Scott was Travis. Rosario Dawson was in it with Christopher Walken and Ewan Bremner. He brings his comedy chops.
I'll walk him right through that door, Billy.
Boy. You got a funny looking face.
Hey, Dad.
He brings his wrestling, his chemistry with Sean William Scott as well is fantastic. So this is a brilliant film. Xena Warrior Princess writer R.J. Stewart wrote the rundown.
Boom! Shakalaka turner!
Dwayne Johnson's stunt double in this movie and in many movies to come was his cousin. He was nominated for and won the award for Best Overall Stunt by a Man at the 2004 Taurus World Stunt Awards. That's pretty good. And tired of not being around them, Dwayne Johnson invited his wife and their daughter Simone to the set in order to spend time with them. Ain't he lovely? Ain't he lovely? Walking Tall, 2004. As he was a former US Army Special Forces sergeant. At ease, boys, at ease. A former US soldier returns to his hometown to find it overrun by crime and corruption, which prompts him to clean house. Hoorah! It's a remake of the original 1973 film starring Joe Don Baker. Heroes TV show director Kevin Bray was behind Walking Tall. The Rock in this reminds me of Michael Caine in Get Carter. He's got that air of coolness about him, and he's just, you don't want to mess with this guy like you don't want to mess with Michael Caine and Get Carter. Ashley Scott, Johnny Knoxville and Kristen Wilson join Johnson here. And it's inspired by a true story. If you want to see The Rock beat people up like he did in wrestling, then you can watch it. Dwayne Johnson accepted the role because he felt this was the right thing to do. The right thing to do. A year later, Be Cool. Everybody be cool.
Be cool.
You be cool.
Be cool.
Be cool. Dwayne was a gay Samoan bodyguard called Elliot Willem.
At my side, I was so happy some women cried.
I wonder if the famous Willem scream is in this film at all. Disenchanted with the movie industry, Chili Palmer tries the music industry, meeting and romancing a widow of a music executive on the way. Adapted from Elmore Leonard's 1999 novel of the same name and the sequel to Leonard's 1990 novel Get Shorty. Friday. Damn! And the Italian Job remake director F. Gary Gray was behind the lens for Be Cool.
You guys have to go to nationals. What is this, hush money? We don't need you. Why are you so mean?
And I love his look in this. Just take a look at him, he's just amazing. His shoulder tattoo as well, I must mention. His tattoo inspired me to want to get tattoos, so it's, yeah, very important. What a cast that joined DJ. We have John Travolta and Uma Thurman, Vince Vaughn and Danny DeVito, to Harvey Keitel and Steven Tyler from Aerosmith.
There was a time when I was so broken-hearted. Love wasn't much of a friend of mine.
Dwayne dropped The Rock in his name after this film. Dwayne even sings in this movie too, which is brilliant. You Ain't Woman Enough, written by Loretta Lynn. And it's a great soundtrack in this, from Kool and the Gang, Bob Dylan, Aerosmith, James Brown, Sonny and Cher, to Earth, Wind and Fire. Doom, 2005. Loosely based on the video game series of the same name. I love Doom, but it's hard to adapt a game into a movie. It is really hard. I'm still waiting for a Metal Gear Solid movie. Abe's Oddworld movie.
Hello. Follow me. Okay.
And a true, proper Resident Evil movie. Still waiting. I'm still waiting. Anyways, Rock was Marine Leader Sarge. Now, Space Marines are sent to investigate strange events at a research faculty on Mars, but find themselves at the mercy of genetically enhanced killing machines. It's great to see DJ in action in an action-packed movie again. Dwayne Johnson was offered the lead role of John Grimm, but chose the role of Sarge because he thought it was more interesting. Despite playing a tough guy in the movie, and having a tough guy image in general, yeah, you're telling me, Dwayne Johnson admitted that he felt nauseous after playing the original Doom games back in the daisy. Polish director, I have to say that because I can't say his name, Polish director who was behind Romeo Must Die did this one, and the only people you may recognise other than the obvious in this film would be Carl Urban and Rosamund Pike in Doom. It's a pan movie all in all, but who cares about the critics? Still enjoyable nevertheless. (2006) Southland Tales. He was Boxer Santoros. The film follows the crisscrossed destinies of Boxer Santoros, an action film actor stricken with amnesia. He loved working with Sean William Scott so much he worked with him again, and Justin Timberlake again, because they were in Long Shot together, him and Justin, with added Sarah Michelle Gellar, Kevin Smith, Wallace Shawn, to so many other gorgeous faces. During a 3-day heatwave, know the feeling? During a 3-day heatwave, just before a huge 4th of July celebration, Boxer Santoros meets up with a porn star who is developing her own reality TV project, and a policeman who holds the key to a vast conspiracy. Ooh. Young director Richard Kelly, who's known for Donnie Darko. He played himself in the TV series Hannah Montana, episode Don't Stop Till You Get the Phone, successful telly show known for catapulting Miley Cyrus into fame and stardom. I think you would like to forget about this part though.
Go out there, look at me, I look like Grandma Rock.
He popped up in another Disney property, Corey in the House. Not gonna lie to you, I've never heard of Corey in the House. And DJ must have enjoyed American football in Gridiron Gang, because his next venture was The Game Plan, 2007. Joe Kingman, Boston Rebels quarterback. An NFL quarterback living in a bachelor lifestyle discovers that he has an 8-year-old daughter from a previous relationship, and this does remind me a tad of the Tooth Fairy for some strange reason, which we'll talk about later, but it's very, very similar. So he was in Hannah Montana, Corey in the House, and The Game Plan, which was his third Disney product in a row. And The Game Plan is about football and fathers and daughters. Andy Fickman directed. He would later direct The Rock again in Race to Witch Mountain.
Where'd you come from?
Outside.
Yeah, I figured that part out on my own. How'd you get in the car?
Through that portal.
But he's also known for Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Sorry?
Dwayne Johnson said he came up with the idea for his character to be such a huge Elvis fan and suggested the idea to the writers, who loved it and added it to the script. Johnson later said that when they asked how he came up with the idea, Johnson responded that he is Elvis's biggest fan, and much of the Elvis memorabilia his character owns actually belongs to Johnson. Dwayne Johnson sings "Are You Lonesome Tonight?" in this movie.
Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart?
He sang the same song the first time he hosted SNL as well. Are You Lonesome Tonight? Get Smart, 2008. He was Agent 23, a hotshot control agent and idol of Smart. A highly intellectual but socially awkward spy is tasked with preventing a terrorist attack from a Russian spy agency. Great comedy director Peter Segal, or Siegel, I can never remember Peter Siegel or Peter Segal. Steve Carell vehicle, he played Maxwell Smart with The Rock, Anne Hathaway, Alan Arkin, James Caan, Terry Crews, to even Bill Murray. And there are 2 WWE wrestlers in this movie. We have The Rock and Dalip Singh, which is Carly. And right, because of the popularity of Johnny English in 2003...
Johnny English, I'm here to see Pegasus. Still, no sense rushing things. Oh, reminds me of the old service issue ballpoint. I remember every agent would carry a pen that looked just like this. Completely innocent to the untrained eye, but click it twice.
It was the perfect time to release a film adapted from the TV series Mel Brooks's Get Smart, 1965 to 1970. And Carell played the bumbling secret agent Maxwell. And there's so many funny scenes in this, so many. We have Steve Carell as a fat man, which is hilarious, which is weirdly similar because The Rock plays a heavy-set gentleman later on in his career. Another funny one is Maxwell with the big lady dancing. It's so funny, like he's moving a wardrobe. There's also a kiss scene between The Rock and Steve Carell. Race to Witch Mountain. The film is a live-action remake of the 1975 Disney live-action film Escape to Witch Mountain. The Rock played Jack Bruno, a former mob getaway driver who drives a minicab to avoid returning to jail. Oh yeah. A Las Vegas cabbie enlists the help of a UFO expert to protect 2 siblings with paranormal powers.
Those vehicles behind us are indicating a pattern of pursuit.
I'm just gonna let him pass.
He was, wait for it, the Rock Obama on SNL. That's pretty good. His first animation stint, if you discount all the video games that have preceded this, was 2009's Planet 51. It was Captain Charles Chuck T. Baker, a NASA human astronaut. Alien civilization is invaded by astronaut Chuck Baker, who believes that the planet was uninhabited. Wanted by the military, Baker must get back to his ship before it goes into orbit without him. And I've got to talk about all these voices. Oh, we have Jessica Biel, Gary Oldman, Justin Long, you guessed it, Sean William Scott. And there's a definite bromance between them two. Sean William Scott and Rock together. We also have legendary John Cleese with both James Corden and Matthew Horn, who did voices. They worked together in Gavin and Stacey.
Gavlar!
All right, mate.
How's it going?
Good.
Why are you doing it?
Just sort of...
I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry.
All right, mate.
How's it going?
Good.
All of them added their voices to Planet 51. And there's lots of music in this you'll recognise. Lots of famous music that you'll recognise straight away. Before he appeared as himself in Family Guy 2010. he was in a fairly big one, Tooth Fairy, 2010. His character name was Derek Thompson. He was a minor league hockey player nicknamed the Tooth Fairy for hitting opposing players so hard that it knocks out their teeth. A bad deed on the part of a tough minor league hockey player results in an unusual sentence. He must serve 1 week as a real-life Tooth Fairy. Michael Lembeck directed Tooth Fairy. He's also known for Friends, a TV show. Julie Andrews, Stephen Merchant and Seth MacFarlane. Those beautiful faces are in it too. And is that another connection with Family Guy between Seth MacFarlane and The Rock? When Derek and Tracy are starting the fairy fight, Johnson says,
"Want a shot at the title? Is that it? You feeling lucky?"
This is a reference to his former pro wrestling career in which he was the seven-time WWE champion.
It's gonna be The Rock, the People's Champ. Never alone, never alone. Team Bring It all day, all night long with the millions of The Rock's fans.
Cubed TV series, then The Other Guys, 2010, as the cocky detective Chris Danson. It's a Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg-led movie. And there's a spoiler in this film about Chris Danson that it's only a minor part in this film, but it's still very funny and worth a mention. Two mismatched New York City detectives seize an opportunity to step up like the city's top cops, whom they idolise. Only things don't go quite as planned. Director Adam McKay, who is a wonderful actor, but he's also got a massive man crush on Will Ferrell, because he appears in all of his films, a lot of his films anyway. Danson, Dwayne Johnson, and Highsmith, Samuel Jackson, are never seen without their sunglasses on. He had two pop-ups in You Again, 2010, and Janet Jackson-led movie, Why Did I Get Married To? And he wasn't given a name next, he was just called The Driver.
You better be sure, because that's a long, dark road you're headed down.
With badass Billy Bob Thornton, who was the cop.
Cop, you idiot!
So, the soulful George Tillman Jr. directed this movie, Faster, where he's also known for Notorious. Barbershop and Soul Food. Driver doesn't change his clothes during the 5-day period in which the film takes place, due to his vengeance being the only thing that matters to him. Ooh. He dipped into Transformers with Transformers Prime TV series, animated.
About that backup. Fair warning, boys. I'll put a few dings in ya.
But that wasn't the only mega blockbuster franchise he joined. No. Next round, barman. Fast 5, 2011. The Fast and the Furious franchise. Fast 5, Fast and the Furious 6, Furious 7, 2015, The Fate and the Furious, 2017. As the US Diplomatic Secretary Service, DSS, Agent Luke Hobbs.
Not even a little bit. I'll just give it a minute. It'll sink in.
Now, in Fast 5, Dominic Toretto and his crew of street racers plan a massive heist to buy their freedom while on the sight of a powerful Brazilian drug lord and a dangerous federal agent. The role of Hobbs was originally envisioned for Tommy Lee Jones. Can you imagine Tommy Lee Jones playing Hobbs instead of The Rock? That's according to Vin Diesel anyway. Dwayne Johnson was brought into Fast 5 because of a fan suggestion from a girl named Jan Kelly, who said she would love to see the two work together on screen. Now that's a bit strange because Vin Diesel and The Rock didn't get on too well, did they? In Fast and the Furious. We got Fast 6. Luke was back, but he had a bigger role. Hobbs is mocked 3 times as a different member of the Avengers. He is verbally referred to as the Hulk, Captain America, And third, seen on a cell phone screen, caller ID as Samoan Thor. Samoan Thor. Director Justin Lin did 5 and 6. Director James Wan did 7. And he's known for horror, James Wan.
It was a visitor. I said, what do you want? It said Dalton. I can still hear that voice.
You, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
The 8th Fast and the Furious, The Fate of the Furious. The director of Friday was behind this, and we mentioned him earlier, didn't we? A week before filming ended, The Rock had a secret meeting with co-star and executive producer Vin Diesel to address personal and professional issues between the two. This happened after Diesel reportedly cancelled some of Johnson's planned scenes at the last minute. Lots of drama to get into, but that's not my bag. Next, he was Hank.
So I guess old hanky-panky wasn't enough for you, huh?
It wasn't for me.
No, not that Hank. Stepfather Hank.
Red roses too, I see them bloom for me and for you.
A sequel to Journey to the Centre of the Earth, 2008, based on another Jules Verne novel, this time The Mysterious Island. 2012, Journey 2, The Mysterious Island. Now, I thought The Rock was in the first film, but no, he's not. I think it would have been good of them to put him in there. A character called Sean Anderson is played by Josh Hutcherson from The Hunger Games. Mr. Anderson, we'll call him. Mr. Anderson. Partners with his mum's husband on a mission to find his grandfather, who is thought to be missing on a mythical island. See, another great plot. So we got Hutch with Johnson, Sir Michael Caine. And if you have been enjoying this video and you are a fellow fan of Michael Caine, you might enjoy a video I made about him. Like this video, but about Mr. Caine. Available if you type Evolution of the Michael Caine Movie into YouTube. If you can't find it, you can hit me a message on Facebook, facebook.com/Richard Isles Radio Show, and I'll happily send you it. Brad Payton. He was behind this. Sir Michael Caine calls Dwayne Johnson a singing Sasquatch. Johnson played a Sasquatch when he hosted SNL in 2002. Another thing I can mention about Journey 2 is The Rock sings 2 songs in the film.
The island that we stand on, well, it's currently sinking.
Boom.
He donned the black shades, put on the armbands, and returned as the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. In Clash Time TV series, he was The Rock, 2012. Full of other wrestlers too. We got Sheamus, Wade Barrett, Christian, Shawn Michaels, The Miz, to so many more. So The Rock was then John Matthews, an estranged father and owner of a construction company. A father goes undercover for the DEA in order to free his son, who was imprisoned after being set up in a drug deal. It Can Only Be Snitch, 2013. No, not to be mistaken with That Snitch. This is Snitch, 2013. Justin Haith wrote Snitch. He's also known for big ones Revolutionary Road, The Lone Ranger, and Cure for Wellness. Snitch 2013, the cast also included Big Susan Sarandon, as Joanne, Walking Dead and Punisher's John Berthnell as Daniel James. Next, Johnson knocked heads with Channing Tatum, Bruce Willis, and Walton Goggins. It can only be thrill ride, action-packed G.I. Joe Retaliation 2013.
I got it from here.
Black, you only get one shot at this.
One in the chamber.
He rejoined Mummy's Arnold Vosloo in G.I. Joe, and it's the second film in the G.I. Joe film series, based on Hasbro's G.I. Joe toy, comic and media franchise. At this point, I must plug a Netflix show, The Toys That Made Us, Season 1, Episode 4, G.I. Joe. It's very, very good. Just thought, because we mentioned G.I. Joes, I thought that was a perfect time to plug The Toys That Made Us. Now, back to the movie. Johnson played Survivor, Heavy Machine Gunner Roadblock. Actually, an African-American in the series. Hell yeah, and in this, he does look badass. Both The Rock and the guy who played the original Roadblock. The G.I. Joes are not only fighting their mortal enemy Cobra, they are forced to contend with threats from within the government that jeopardize their very existence. Always the way, always the bloody way. Deadpool.
All the dinosaurs feared the T-Rex.
Zombieland.
You got a purty mouth.
Deadpool 2.
You stole that from RoboCop. RoboCop. Just stand down. You're embarrassing me. Look. Fire. Oh my God. I can't say it. I'm so sorry.
Writer Rhett Reese was behind G.I. Joe. The Rock is the second WWE wrestler to appear as a Joe. The first was Robert Remus, who played Sergeant Slaughter in several G.I. Joe cartoons. The same year, Empire State. Empire State was somewhat overshadowed by his next venture, Pain and Gain 2013. Character name, Paul Doyle. Doyle rules!
Doyle rules.
A recently released cocaine-addicted convict who has turned to Christianity. A trio of bodybuilders in Florida get caught up in an extortion ring and a kidnapping scheme that goes terribly wrong. Michael Bay directed this, which is great. He also did a film called The Rock, which is funny considering, he was in the film. And Michael Bay is known for Armageddon and very, very bad Transformers movies. But there's a weird connection there with Michael Bay, who's known for bad Transformers movies, and The Rock actually featured in the TV series of Transformers. We got Mark Wahlberg as Daniel, Anthony Mackie, Ed Harris, Rebel Wilson in this too, with loads more alongside Dwayne Johnson. And it's actually based on some truth as well, and with the plot with real characters. This is something astonishing. Dwayne bulked up to nearly 300 pounds for his role in this movie, and you can see it. You can see it. 300 pounds. When Dwayne Johnson rode in Daniel's car, the T-tops had to be removed because he was so tall and large. He could not fit in the car otherwise. T-tops, for those who are not big car fans like me, T-tops is the roof for those who don't know yet. Fast and the Furious 6. 2014. Hercules. Not Arnie Schwarzenegger this time. Arnold.
And we've walked into a trap.
And it was the perfect role for The Rock to play a god, wasn't it? Perfect role. Brett Ratner directed Hercules. He's great. He's also done Rush Hour.
Get closer, oh, get closer. I'm burning now. Just love me till you don't know how. Come on.
Red Dragon. To prepare for the role of Hercules, Dwayne Johnson took on a grueling training routine for 8 months. Dwayne Johnson's paycheck of $12 million was 1,000 times the purse earned by Steve Reeves for his role in the classic Hercules 1958. We can put on our old Steve Reeves movie. He took a short break here from acting, doing lots and lots for the WWE, plus WWE 2K14 video game. 2015. Ballers, the TV show, started this year, 2015. A series centered around a group of football players and their families, friends and handlers.
Let's ball.
Let's go ball. You're gorgeous.
You're the second guy who's hit on me today. Is it the Axe body spray?
The Rock Johnson was the only choice for the lead. The Rock Johnson lost almost 20 pounds for the role. And producer of Boardwalk Empire and Entourage, dude Stephen Levinson, was behind Ballers. All that is left to say is I feel sorry for the costume department guy who had the job to get a suit for The Rock. Can you imagine trying to find a suit to fit that man? Furious 7 and Fast and the Furious Supercharged, which was a short straight after. In the aftermath of a massive earthquake in California, a rescue chopper pilot makes a dangerous journey with his ex-wife across the state in order to rescue his daughter. Rocky was Ray Gaines, who was an LA Fire Department helicopter pilot in the midst of a divorce from his wife Emma. In San Andreas 2015. No, not the GTA game you might be thinking of, GTA San Andreas.
Everybody down!
San Andreas, the film. Now this is a first. The cast is full of hard names to say. Yeah, really difficult to say. Daddario, Gugino, Giamatti, and Lohan Grufford. Jesus. Oh, and Kylie Minogue as well. This man can't get any better, can he? He goes on, that was a different part for me. It was exercising a different muscle that I hadn't before. I've played characters like this where I'm pretty proficient, and I hope to be taking care of business.
And I've been taking care of business every day. Taking care of business every way. I've been taking care of business. It's alright. Taking care of business and working overtime.
Whatever that business is. But in this case, it was very different than anything I had ever experienced before. He played himself again, which he hadn't done since the Disney days in Gem and the Holograms. Then Rock went right back into comedy. Central Intelligence, 2016.
Robert, I would like to go home now, please.
Buddy, you and me both. But until we clear our names, there's no going home.
I'm sorry, can you clarify that last sentence for me?
Yeah, well, now that you're in.
Let me stop you right there. I'm not in. I never said that I was in.
As Bob Stone, or Fat Robbie, as he used to be called. Bless him.
Look at him.
Seeing The Rock as a chubby high school boy is something to see here. It is so funny. Oh, God, I remember the trailer just making me hysterical. Kevin Hart and Dwayne's chemistry is wonderful in this. A lot of people remember the therapy sessions, which is so funny. Aaron Paul and Jason Bateman also have pop-ups in this movie, Central Intelligence. After he reconnects with an awkward pal from high school through Facebook, a mild-mannered accountant is lured into the world of international espionage. We've all been there. Director Rawson Marshall Thurber. That name. What a name. Rawson Marshall Thurber. He also did other comedy greats like Dodgeball.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. What?
And We're the Millers.
All right, let's see it. What? What is it?
Johnson wears a fanny pack throughout the movie, and the film makes multiple comedic references to it. This is a reference to a popular meme which shows Johnson wearing a fanny pack in the 90s. Dwayne Johnson gives 3 nods to Bruce Lee. The yellow and black sneakers, a famous Lee pose, and the 1-inch punch. When Kevin Hart and Dwayne's characters first meet, Hart makes a reference to Johnson looking like Hercules. Johnson played Hercules. And speaking of Disney, the same year, Moana 2016, he was Maui. And it's my favourite movie of The Rock's. It really is. This is The Rock at the height of his powers. It's a Disney animation. He's playing part of his heritage, Honolulu, Hawaii. It's reviewed highly by the critics and by me. It grossed almost, probably more than this now, £643 million. It's just astonishing, really. In this, The Rock is a legendary demigod. And you can't beat it. And we knew that already. He was already a legendary demigod before he even did the voice for this film. In ancient Polynesia, when a terrible curse incurred by the demigod Maui reaches Moana's island, she answers the ocean's call to seek out the demigod to set things right. It's heartwarming, fun for the family, exciting. What's not to love about this? I think it's probably one of the best Disney Pixar movies to date, really. One of the best. The tattoos on Chief Tui's are the same tattoos worn by pro wrestler Peter Maivia, Dwayne Johnson's maternal grandfather. And you've got to love The Rock's tattoos. They are a staple in themselves, really. And did I mention how he sings in this film? Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome for the tides, the sun, the sky. Hey, it's okay, you're welcome. I'm just an ordinary demiguy.
2017, The Fate of the Furious. Before the Baywatch movie, 2017. Panned movie all in all. But, like I mentioned, we don't care about the critics here. Devoted lifeguard Mitch Buchanan butts heads with a brash new recruit as they uncover a criminal plot that threatens the future of the Bay. David Hasselhoff and Pamela Anderson, who co-starred in the original show Baywatch.
People stand in the darkness, afraid to step into the light.
We got Zac Efron, Pam and Dave, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Zac Efron gave The Rock all the names to call him in the movie. Like, for instance, One Direction. After scathing reviews poured in from critics and fans alike, Johnson tweeted that the film wasn't made for critics, and he's right. Now, this is really interesting, I think, anyway. The Rock was the 10th professional wrestler to work on Baywatch, and the first wrestler turned actor who didn't appear on the TV show. We got George Gonzalez, Jimmy Hart, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Ric Flair, Leon White, Shawn Michaels, and Tori Wilson, who all appeared as guest stars in Baywatch. The official YouTube channel for Dwayne and 7 Books Digital Studios popped up, and at this time I must mention his The Rock Reacts videos. Jumanji. Welcome to the Jungle. 2017, he was Dr. Smolder Bravestone. New entry here, Dwayne Johnson playing a nerdy character. He's never done this before. Because can you imagine a nerd being put in his body? Well, that's the whole premise of his character. 4 teenagers are sucked into a magical video game, and the only way they can escape is to work together to finish the game. Walk Hard director Jake Kasdan. Now, Spencer's avatar is a tough, muscular explorer named Dr. Smolder Bravestone. Critically acclaimed by everyone, and it's great to see Rock play against type. Yeah, let's go against it. Flip the switch, and go against the grain. We also got Karen Gillan, Kevin Hart, the amazingly funny man Jack Black, who I would give my right arm to meet. Even Nick Jonas joined our DJ here.
That was so intense. I can't even with this place.
Watch your step in here.
I'm back! Mom! Dad! I'm home! I'm back!
Now this year, currently where we're at now, 2018, Rampage. He was a primatologist, the scientific study of primates, named Davis Okoye, who must team up with George, an albino gorilla who turns into a raging creature of enormous size as a result of a rogue experiment, to stop 2 other mutated animals from destroying Chicago!
Chicago! You're out of there!
When Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson signs to George or other gorillas in the film to calm them down, he says, "It's me." The sign he makes on those words is for Rock, a reference to his nickname. And what's yet to come? Well, he is one of the most dedicated, hard-working actors there is living today. Honestly, just take a look. We got 2018 Skyscraper, which has been completed. He plays Will Sawyer. 2019 Fighting with My Family, which has been completed. He played himself. Jungle Cruise, he's currently filming as Frank. His name is Frank! And what rumours that's been circulated is Big Trouble in Little China, which has been announced. He's going to play Jack Burton. It's been rumoured. Doc Savage has been announced, where it was an American pulp magazine during the 1930s and 40s. San Andreas 2 has been announced. 2019 Suicide Squad 2, and it's been rumoured that he's going to play Black Adam. 2019, a spin-off to Fast and the Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, has been announced. He's going to be Luke Hobbs again. We mentioned Suicide Squad 2, Black Adam, which is going to get his own feature film, I think. Black Adam is a supervillain and occasional anti-hero appearing in American comic books published by DC Comics. 2020. I might not even be alive 2020. Red Notice is in pre-production, and 2019 Jumanji 2 is in pre-production, and he's going to be Spencer again. Wow, 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 wow. If you have enjoyed this video, be sure to check out my Facebook page, facebook.com/Richard Isles Radio Show, to keep up to date with my actor specials every week. Past radio shows I upload to Mixcloud, mixcloud.com/Richard-Isles, and subscribe to this channel if you fancy for more videos like these, which are coming thick and fast. And as always, thank you so much for watching.